Good morning. Good morning, Commute Education Revolutionaries. I'm Susan May, live with you here today to share some thoughts. I always love having you share your questions or share your experience because I learn as much from you as you do from me. So, we're here this morning to talk about this kind of controversial idea, uh, and it's a difficult topic, like most things are with our non-speaking loved ones, because things are new, and two, they can't always tell us things, and these ideas of apraxia, presuming competence, motor coaching, all these things are relatively new. So I recently posted and shared an email explaining how I've learned that I need to push through my discomfort for Carter. So, and when I talk about discomfort, what I mean is when Carter is, his body is really fighting whatever we're trying to do, and that can show up as dysregulation, it can show up as him running away, it can show up as him crying, and I have to be able to stay calm myself and to keep the larger picture and to really try to do what I know is right for him. And I posted about this, and there was a mama who I really respect, and I love how she pushed back because I think it's so important for us to have conversations and not just accept something as truth. And this mom really is into gentle parenting and unschooling philosophy. So, before I dive more into this, I want to give you a little background. So, before Carter came along into our life, and Carter is our 10-year-old, he's our non speaker, he's the one that's on the boards. Before him, I had his two older siblings, his big sister and brother, and there's a pretty big gap. My daughter is almost 10 years older than him, and my son, our first son, is almost 6 years, no, almost 7 years older. So before he came along, I dove deep into alternative parenting ideas, attachment parenting, gentle parenting, like parenting without punishment, literally not using punishment, and also alternative educational philosophies too, which led me to unschooling. And unschooling is as much about your relationship with your children and other people in your life as it is about education. It's kind of like a whole life philosophy, and it's about our beliefs about the nature of humans. And so I came to these alternative beliefs about like seeing the goodness in my children and wanting to be their partner. And so with my daughter, I really learned, she has taught me that love, really loving her, is listening. It's not usually solving her problem for her. She doesn't like it when I do that. And so I've had to become a really good listener with her. And with my first son, Jerry, who is 16 now, Marisol's 19, I have learned a lot about trusting because for him, patience is key. Not pushing him is actually really important. He doesn't deal well with pressure. And I've seen how when I trust his growth process, largely things go really well. Okay, so we've got listening, and we've got love, and we've got trust, we've got listening and patience. And so when Carter came along, I applied those things to him um, a lot when he was little. And that actually was really beneficial. I think we avoided a lot of trauma with Carter because I didn't just go along with the mainstream practices for young children that are diagnosed with autism. We didn't just turn immediately to the experts because I had learned to question experts. And I'm really grateful that we didn't just like rush into things. We didn't just rush to get him diagnosed and throw him into all the therapies. But eventually, I did come across this knowledge, this new understanding about how his brain and body work, about how to parent him. And those things were apraxia, learning about presuming competence, learning about this brain body disconnect, about how his body doesn't obey him, and how motor coaching is really beneficial for him. And Dana Johnson was one of the first practitioners I worked with, and she taught us that Carter's body is consistently inconsistent, meaning it might look like one minute he understands something or he knows how to do something, and then the next minute he's not doing it, which is really confusing for parents, and it contributes to this belief that our kids don't understand or that they're cognitively disabled. Okay, but really what's happening is this brain body disconnect. So why do we have to push our children? Like, why am I learning to do things a little differently with Carter, and not just wait all the time, and to kind of, for example, with spelling, sometimes he's crying and I'll be like, okay, we're going to do a couple more words, right? When I say push him, we're not going crazy here, okay? It's about slowly increasing our endurance, slowly. But we do, if we want to reach next level, we often have to do things that it looks like he doesn't want to do. Okay, so how do I know this though? Why are we pushing our non-speakers? And number one is because the non-speakers that are open, the fluent spellers, they're telling us. So I want to share this quote with you all from a young man named Spencer Austin. This was a great post. He said, if my family would have taken my behavior as communication, which is common when you have nothing else to rely on, we wouldn't have made it past the first few sessions. My body rebelled. The prospect of finally being able to communicate overwhelmed my nervous system. I spent the first several months screaming and shaking uncontrollably. But with the skilled guidance and quiet determination of my practitioner, I slowly progressed from one large letter being exposed to all 26, from answering questions from only one possible response to spelling my thoughts. Okay, so listen to what he says. He if they had taken his behavior as communication, they would have quit. And he was scared that the prospect of finally being able to communicate overwhelmed my nervous system. He was so excited about this possibility that his body went nuts, and he was scared, right? He was scared that his parents wouldn't persevere. Okay, so there's a non-speaker. Now here's the quote from Dana Johnson that has helped me over and over again gain perspective when I'm not sure. She says, I haven't met a speller that doesn't want more control of their body. Okay, so that just makes sense to me. It helps me realize that I need to keep supporting Carter in his body control, keep doing things that are hard for him and hard for me, to stay on this path. And finally, I want to share a story from Dawn Marie Gavin, because Dana Johnson and Dawn Marie Gavin are going to be guest speakers tomorrow in Nonspeakers Homeschool Support, and they are incredibly inspiring. And these are just two examples of like how I have like kind of really shifted my parenting philosophy. And this was, my parenting philosophy was one of years of researching and reading and then putting it into practice with my older kids. So I don't take this lightly. But Dawn Marie spoke of like her son. He would just be on the floor when she would try to start spelling with him, and she would think, oh, you don't want to do this, fine. And then come to find out later, he would share once he could spell with her, he would say, no, I want to spell with you so badly. And so our children's, their bodies, they say it all the time, open spellers. My body lies, my body betrays me. And so, but how do we like push them and also be respectful? How do we maintain this this relationship with them? And I think there's a few things. First of all, before they're able to communicate, we have to be extra good at communicating. So we need to make things that are inside of us, we need to say them out loud. We have to be honest. So, for example, we can say to them, I don't know what you want to do. I'm not really sure if right now you really want to stop or if you want to push through. But I do know that you want more control of your body, and I do know that you want to communicate with me. So we're going to do 3 more words. Stick with me. I know you can do this. I believe in you. This is part of presuming competence. So we don't have to say, like, I know exactly what you want. We can admit we don't know, but we can also support them at the same time. We have to also regulate ourselves. So if you're feeling very distraught, if you're feeling uncomfortable, they feel it. If you're looking at them and you're just so stressed out because of their body reaction, then yeah, maybe you need to take a break, okay? Because we've learned over and over again that our regulation impacts their regulation, okay? Um, so we also, when I talked about listening, I learned to listen with my daughter. Well, Carter doesn't have reliable communication. So we need to learn to listen to our own intuition and trust it. We need to learn to change course when something's not working. So listen to our intuition. And with my second child, I learned how to be really patient, right? We still have to be patient with our children. Just because we're pushing them, we're pushing our comfort zones, doesn't mean we're not patient. This journey is a marathon. So we need to learn to be even more patient than we've ever been in our whole lives, which is why our regulation is so important. We also need to nurture hope and resilience and determination at levels we've never had before. Hope, resilience, determination. We never ever give up on this journey. Okay, so that is the NHS, the Non-Speakers Homeschool Support. That is our mission, to create the space for parents on these revolutions where we never give up and we don't allow others in our community to give up either. Do we need to rest sometimes? Sure. Do we need to take a break? Do we need to vent? Do we need to change course? Absolutely. But this is the space where we never give up on our kids. We never lose hope in what is possible. And it's people like Dana Johnson and Dawn Marie Gavin who have been leaders in these revolutions for a long time. They founded the Spellers Method. They wrote a book together. They do guest speaking appearances all the time. Dawn Marie Gavin is also one of the leaders of the Spellers Freedom Foundation. Dana Johnson has recently started both a Substack and a YouTube channel where she shares this incredible knowledge she has. And so these two women, I don't know even know how to put it into words. They are amazing. And we've had them on in Non-Speakers Homeschool Support before as guest speakers separately. This is going to be super special because they're going to be together. And there's something about when we come together that I can't explain it, but there's some magic, right? And so they're coming and they're going to share their experience, they're going to share their knowledge and their wisdom, and we're just going to soak it up. And this is what it's all about in our community: staying inspired, always learning, always staying open to learning new things for our kids so that we can keep pushing ourselves and them to the next level. If you want to join, go to nonspeakershomeschoolsupport.com and join us. Our doors are open. We're accepting new members just through tomorrow, and then doors will be closed again. The call is at noon tomorrow, but it will also be recorded. I think that's everything. If you have any comments about how you've had to push your comfort level with your child to get to that next level, we'd love to hear it because we're always learning together. I think that's all for now. I'm Susan May, and I'm inviting you to join the revolutions. Homeschool your non-speaker.